Hey guys, this is Christina with craftmuse, and today we're going to be doing a tutorial for a Woody Zoom Zoom. So this is what we're going to be making today. The one that we're making today is going to be just a little bit different. I decided to do a little bit less of the skin tone, so his face will be a little bit shorter. I'm going to add another row of red, and then I'm going to make another, I'm going to extend his length of body a little bit just to give him more blue, just because I don't like how this is so little right here. You can barely see it, but this is the general, this is like a general idea of what we're going to be making, and this is the real one here. So I tried to make them as similar as possible. Of course, it's really hard to do with bands, but I still like how he turned out. So to do this project, we're going to need a skin tone color for his face. For this one, I used the mixed skin tone color. Let's see which one. I used the lightest one, not the pinkish one, but the more peachy color. But you could see there's some like pink mixed in with his face because this pack is like one of the hardest packs to sort through. So today I'm going to be using the skin tone that's from the green and black and brown camel pack. And so he'll be like, I guess, a little bit more tan. So this is like East Coast Woody. And the one I'm making today is going to be West Coast Woody, California Woody. Just kidding. Anyways, so you need the skin tone. You'll need some red. You'll need some... I'd recommend two types of brown. I'm going to be doing the burgundy brown for the hair, like I did here. And then for the hat, I think I'll use, well, for the hat I used the brown that I got out of the camo pack, but I don't want to like sort through them right now. So I think I'll probably use like a caramel color for his hat, or a different brown, I don't know yet. And then you'll need some white and black, some yellow and blue, and then also brown for his little shoes. I use the same color I used for the hair, and then I use the skin tone for his hands. And I use pony beads for the eyes. I use the smaller ones, but today I'm going to use the larger ones, just so you can see, you know, if you only have the larger ones, you can kind of see how they'll both look and decide from there on which ones you decide to use. Or you can use wrap bands if you don't have the beads. Then you'll also need polyfill, of course, and then a hook, crochet hook or rainbow loom hook. And then I just have another hook that I'm going to use to put my hands and feet on. And yeah, I think that's it. Oh, you'll need a C-clip or some kind of stitch marker. I'm just using a C-clip. And just a little warning, this one is a little bit more involved than my other Zoom Zooms. He's not necessarily like really hard, but you have to put kind of a lot of time and patience into getting him to look right. So, that being said, let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with his hat, just to get that out of the way. So I've written down each of the steps on index cards, so if you need to pause the video, or if I'm going too fast, you could pause the video and you'll have the little written instructions so that you can just follow along with that if I'm going too fast or too slow or whatever. Just, you know, go at your own pace. So let's start. Okay, so the hat, like I said, I'm going to be using a different brown than what I'm using for the hair. So let's get our brown out. And the first thing that we need to make is the magic ring with 6 stitches in it. And I've decided that I'm going to use the caramel brown for my hat, even though it's a little bit lighter than the real one, but it's okay. So let's start with our one band. And we're going to wrap it around our hook twice, twice, so 1 and 2. I'm going to grab another band and pull my capping band onto this one. And then I just put both ends on my hook, and then I'm going to just do a slip knot, just like that, not too tight. Then I'm going to go back through my capping band, grab another band, pull it through my capping band only, reclaim the other end onto my hook, and then I'm going to slide this band through these two. I go back through my capping band, This is going to be my third, so I'll pull that up and reclaim and pull this band through these two. Go back through my capping band. Do my crochet. So that's 4. Here's 5. And 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's our very first row. So that was row 1. Now for row 2, we're going to increase around our 6 stitches so that we end up with 12. So if you're not familiar with increases, you're just going to go into each stitch and do 2 single crochets. So I'll go into my first stitch, take my first band and pull it through my stitch, and then I'll reclaim the other end onto my hook, and just like we did with our magic ring, I will slide this band through these two here. I'll go back through that stitch again and do another single crochet. And I'm just going to do this all the way around, so I'll do 2 single crochets in each stitch. If you guys hear squeaking, it's my chair. It's like really squeaky, and I'm filming out at my dining room table today because my kids are both at school. So we're just going all the way around with our increase. My 3-year-old just started school last week. It's so sad. I'm all by myself. Alright, so we should have 12 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so we're done with that card. Let's move on to row 3. Okay, so for row 3, we're going to do a single crochet followed by an increase so that we end up with 18 stitches. So let's start with our first stitch will be a single crochet. Our second stitch will be an increase. Our third stitch will be a single. Our fourth will be an increase. Our fifth will be a single. Sixth will be an increase. Well, that one's all stretched out. 7th is a single. 8th is an increase. 9th stitch is a single. 10th stitch is an increase. 11th is a single, and then our last stitch is an increase. So I'm just going to take this out because it gets in my way. Okay, so after we complete this row, we should have 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Okay, so now we're going to be switching to black. Just for one row around, we just wanted to do the black. But for this one, we're going to be doing a single crochet followed by a decrease. In FLO means front loops only. So let's see. So like I'm only going to be using the loops that are closest to me. So these are the front loops here, just the first band that's right there. Those are just the front loops. So those are the only one, those are what we want to work in. We don't want to put our hook through the entire stitch, just through those. So we're going to start with a single crochet, and I'm going to be doing my color change. So when I go in through my first front loop, I'm going to take my black and then I'm going to pull it through all of the bands on my hook and do like a slip stitch. So I've got 2 on there. I'm going to bring this one through this one. So just kind of like I just did a slip knot. So that was my first stitch. So that was a single crochet. And then our next 2 we want to stitch together. So that will be our decrease. So I'll pick up my first front loop on this one, and then I'll go to my next stitch over and pick up the next front loop. And then I'll just bring my black band through these 2 loops only. And then I'll reclaim the other end onto my hook, and then I'll bring this band through these 2. Our next stitch will be a single crochet in the front loop only. So all the way around we're just working in our front loops. So that was my single. Now I'm going to do a decrease, so I'll pick up my next stitch and then my stitch over from that. Bring my band through the 2 brown and reclaim onto my hook, and then bring this through here. Now I'll do a single crochet. Now I'll do another decrease. And if I'm going too slow for you, go ahead and just, go at your own pace. I'm just trying to get this do a little bit slower just in case some people are having problems. So. Okay, so I just did a single crochet. Now I'm going to do another decrease. Do a single. I'll do a decrease. Do a single. And then I'm going to end with a decrease. I'm just going to take this out and go through my last 2 stitches for a decrease. Okay, so after we finish that round, we should have 12 stitches left. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, yeah, don't count your first one because of the slip stitch that we did. Skip that one there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay. Now we are going to be switching back to brown. So we've completed this card here. Okay, and so for this one, we're going to be doing a single crochet followed by an increase in the front loops only again. So we're only working in the front loops. So, okay. So let's switch to our brown. Whoops. Alright, so skip your first black stitch if you did the slip stitch with me, because that one doesn't count. So we're going to go into our first front loop only and do a single crochet. However, we're changing colors, so we're going to do another slip stitch. So I'm going to bring it through all of the bands on my hook and do my slip knot. Okay, so our next stitch will be an increase. So there's one, there's two. Our next stitch will be a single crochet in my front loop only. Our next stitch will be an increase. Next stitch will be a single crochet. Next stitch, an increase. Next will be a single. Next will be an increase. Next will be a single. Next will be an increase. Then we'll do a single. And then we'll end with an increase. Okay, so we should have 18 stitches. Again, you're going to skip your first brown stitch because that won't count because we did the slip stitch. So I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Our next row around will be row 6, and we're going to be doing a single crochet, followed by an increase in the front loops only again, so that we end up with 24 stitches, and this is in the brown, so we won't have to switch any colors. We're almost done with that hat. And it's going to look funky at first until we actually place it on his head, but it's okay. I think it looks fine once it's on his head. So again, once you start your round, skip your first brown stitch if you did the slip stitch for the color change. And we'll start here, and we're going to do a single crochet. Oh gosh, I'm having all these like stretched out bands. Our next one over is going to be a single. Then we're going to do our increase. And again, these are in the front loops only. It's kind of weird working in the front loops just because it's so like loose feeling. Okay, so a single crochet, single, and then an increase. Okay, back to singles, so 2 singles. So there's one, then another, there's 2, and then on our next stitch we'll do an increase. There's 1 and 2, and then back to our 2 single crochets. Single, single, increase. Single, single, increase, okay, and then single, single, and then we'll end with an increase, and that's it for the hat. So in my last stitch, I'll do my first single crochet, and then I'll go into that same stitch, do my next single, and then just fasten this off. So I'll go into my next stitch over, and then just pull a band through all the loops on my hook and tie a slip knot. And don't worry about that because we'll hide it later into his head. Alright, so there's his hat. Kind of looks like a safari hat or a bonnet or something. But we'll squish it together and fix it up later. Okay. So you can set that aside. And we're going to work on our arms and our legs next. So you'll need your brown, your darkest brown that you're going to be using for your hair, or whatever you want to use. I mean, it's up to you. But you'll need your nude and then some brown for that. And this is how it's going to be here. So it's just a magic ring of 6 stitches, and you'll make 2 in nude and 2 in brown. So I'll start with my nude ones. Okay. So magic ring, just wrap your band around your hook twice. Pull up 1. Go back through your capping band. Pull this through your capping band only and reclaim. And do your crochet. So I'm just doing this for 6 stitches. Get one more. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then go ahead and just place that on your holding hook for now. Let's see. And then we need one more. If you started with your nude, you'll need one more nude and then 2 in brown. So go ahead and pause the video and make your legs and arms and meet me back here when you're done. Okay, so you should have finished your arms and your legs, and I just set them on my hook. Make sure your arms are in front of your brown legs because we're going to need access to those first. So before we get started with actual Woody, we need to make his little ears, and that's really simple. And of course we need to make 2, unless you want to make a 1-eared Woody. We'll just take a band and wrap it around our hook once, and then grab all those bands and wrap them around your hook again. And then I'll take a single band and then I'll pull this onto that. So his ears are really small. I just wanted to make them smaller. So we need to make 2 of those. And we'll just be incorporating these into our rounds. So just have those handy, and as well as your eyes. So if you're using pony beads, just like these are the bigger ones, so I can just slide my band right through those. But if you're gonna use bands, then just go ahead and make them the same way you made the ears. So I've got my eyes and my ears ready, and now we can start with this base. So for row 1, of course, we need to start out with our magic ring with 6 stitches in it. So I'll wrap around my hook 2 times. Get my nude over here. And we need 6. So let's pull through 6 bands. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. 4. 5. And 6. Alright, go ahead and place your C-clip in there. And now we want to increase around. So in all of these stitches here, we want to make an increase so that we end up with 12. Before you move on to row 3, just follow along with me though, because we're going to be adding the eyes into row 3. So if you want to jump ahead and, you know, just pause right there before you get started with that. So let's do our 2 single crochets in each stitch. So I'm just doing my increase all the way around. There's 1 and 2, and then moving on to my next stitch. There's 1 and 2, my next stitch over. There's 1 and 2, and then my last stitch. There's 1 and 2. Put your C-clip back in. And we should have 12 stitches now. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So here we're going to be adding our eyes into this round, and we're going to be adding them to stitch 3 and 8. But we want to do a single crochet followed by an increase. So let's start with our first one. Will be a single crochet. Our second stitch will be an increase. Alright, our third stitch is going to be where we're adding our eyes, so stick your hook through your third stitch, grab one of your eyes, grab one end of the band and pull it through, just like that. So just like we're using a regular band, it just has an eye attached to it. Our next stitch will be an increase. Our next stitch will be a single. Next stitch will be an increase. Next will be a single. Ugh, come on. Next will be an increase. All right, and this next stitch here, we want to add our eye. And if you're, confused as to where I'm putting it, if you take your C-clip and count that as 1, and then go down 2, 3, and 4, it's the 4th stitch from the end that I'm putting it in. So I'll just do the same way as I did my other eye. So that was a single crochet. Our next stitch over will be an increase. Next stitch over will be a single, and then our last stitch will be an increase. Okay, so we should have 18 stitches now. So I have 1, 2, 3. And then if you're using these larger eyes, your 4th stitch will be really tiny, but you need to remember to count that. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then your 13th stitch will also be tiny, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So when you're working in your next row around, you need to make sure that you include these little tiny stitches into it. Otherwise, you're going to be off count with your bands. So. Okay, so we've completed that one. So our next row, for row 4, we're going to be doing a single crochet, and then an increase. So we'll do that all the way around so that we end up with 24 stitches. And I am going to run out of nude, this color nude, and so I'm going to have to use like a darker nude after this. So he's going to be a little funky. Oh well. Okay, so our first one will be a single crochet. Our second stitch will be a single. Third stitch will be an increase. Our fourth stitch, which is this teeny tiny one, will be a single. Fifth stitch will be a single. Our next stitch will be an increase. And we'll go back to our single and single, then an increase, then a single, single, then an increase, okay, our next stitch is a tiny one and it will be a single, then another single, then an increase, go back to our singles, and then we will end with an increase so that we have 24. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Okay, stick your C-clip back in, and now we're on row 5, and we're just going to do a single crochet all the way around in our 24 stitches. So just go all the way around. Squeaky chair. So Woody is my 3-year-old's very favorite Disney character ever. He has 2 talking Woody dolls, and one of them's like newer, but the only one that he really likes is his really old one that's all like dirty and nasty, and he's taking it in the bath with him, and it like smells sour just because it's so hard to dry correctly. But he like wants nothing to do with his newer Woody. He just wants like his old Woody with him like all the time everywhere he goes. It's kind of gross, but hopefully he'll grow out of it. Find a new toy to take around with him. Guess it's kind of like his security blanket. Well, he's got one of those too, so. Okay, so here's my last stitch here. Put my C-clip back in, and then we can start with row 6, which is going to be the same thing, except we're going to be adding our ears in here, so to stitch number 4 and 15. So we'll just do our single crochets around, grab your ears. And so single crochet, here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, and then I'll stick my hook into my 4th stitch, grab one of my ears, just putting it in like we did our eyes. Okay, so now we're going to count all the way to 15, so that was 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then I'll stick my hook into my 15th stitch, grab my other ear, pull it through, and then just go all the way around with your single crochets. And for a little while he's going to look a little funky without his hair, without his nose and his eyebrows, but we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so that was my last stitch. So I'll replace my C-clip. And this is what he looks like so far. Kind of like a little baby or something. Baby man. Okay, so now we're going to be working on the next rows around. And I'm going to let you guys go for this. For rows 7 and 8, it's just a single crochet around with a nude. So just like we've been doing, just go around in the 24 stitches for 2 rounds. And then stop there and we'll come back to do the switch over to red. So I'll see you guys when you guys are done with that. Alright, so I finished my 2 rows around, and then for the last row I did have to switch to a different nude. So it's noticeable, but once I add the hair and stuff, it'll be okay. So that's why it looks kind of weird. But, so we're going to switch to our red now, and we're going to need to do our slip stitch. And we're still continuing with our single crochets around. Our first stitch is only going to be the weird one where we switch colors. So I'll take my red and I'll bring it through all my bands on my hook and then just do like a slip knot. And then I'll just continue all the way around till we get to the end. I hope this one ends up looking okay, since I changed it a little bit. And we'll do like some of his body a little bit, and then we'll fasten him off while we do his facial features and hair, stuff like that. That's the fun part, especially that hair. Right, so I'm in my last stitch here. And I still have 24. Okay, so we need to add our legs or arms into this next round. So alright, so for this next row around, we're going to continue with our single crochets around in the 24 stitches. We're going to be adding our arms to stitch 4, and then I'm changing this to 8 instead of 10. So 4 and 8 is where we're going to be adding our legs. So get your arms ready. And when we start with this row, we have to make sure that we skip where we changed colors. So that little red stitch, you can see it better here than when we were doing the hat, but it's going off to the side. So that one we're skipping. So we're just, again, just doing our single crochets. So in our 4th stitch, we'll stop and put our arm on. So there's 1. There's 2. There's 3. Okay, and then here, stick your hook through there. Grab one of your arms, put it on your hook, and then put your hook through the next stitch over on your arm and bring a red band through your arm holes, in your arm loops. So I've got it like that, and then I'm just going to bring that through my stitch and reclaim the other end and crochet. So that was number 4. Continue on to 8. There's 5, 6, 7, 'That seems like it's not going to work out this time. Let's just try it. So I know some people were having problems like attaching these little arms on directly onto the body. So if you've got your arm on the hook already, then you can actually just go through your next stitch over and draw up your red band through, and then hold on to that, and then attach it like you would the eye. See, this isn't working out in stitch 8. So we're gonna move on to we're gonna do it in 10. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why I changed that. I'm so sorry. I thought I was gonna work out. Okay, so that was 4, 5, 6, 7. 8. 9. Okay, we'll put him in here. And 10. So I put him in the 10th stitch. And that's what I get for like trying to adjust things like afterwards, like without even trying it. I did it with bullseye and it worked out fine, so I don't know what's going on. Anyways, so just continue with your single crochets around. I hope you guys don't dislike this video because of that. I'm so sorry. Okay, so this is my last stitch here. And now we're going to start with our black and white. So for 3 rows, we're going to be doing the black and then the white, and then you're going to add black spots wherever you want to add them. You could follow along with me. I just didn't make a specific pattern for where the spots were going to be. I just kind of put them in where I wanted to put them. But this part might be a little bit challenging where you're switching out your colors, because you're going to need to do your slip stitch to change each time you change from black to white. So because if you don't, you're not going to get a clean color change, and it's kind of just going to look like, I don't know, it's going to come out weird, so you're not going to actually get this, like, the pattern to where it looks like actual spots. It's going to look, I don't know, it's going to look a little messy. So when you're crocheting around, you want to keep your 24 stitches, so you need to be careful when you're doing your rounds to make sure that you're skipping that weird stitch every time you change colors. So if you want, you can follow along with me and put the spots where I put them. I just didn't write it out because I don't even know myself. I'm just gonna kind of add them in as I go. So I'll try to do it slow so that you guys can follow along with me if you want to put them in the same spots as I do. I just kind of wanted to give you freedom to add them, you know, wherever you wanted to. So you'll need your white and black, and so we're going to be doing this for 3 rows, and it's just the single crochets all the way around. So I'm going to start with white, and I'm going to be switching my color, so I need to pull this through all the bands on my hook and do my slip stitch. And then I'm just going to do a few more in white. So I'll just do my single crochets around. So that's 2. And that's 3. Then I'll do another. So I did 4 whites. Now I'm going to stitch to black. So I'll go into my next stitch. I'll get my black, and I have to do my color change here. So I'll bring them through all my bands. Do my slip stitch, and then I'll do 1 more in black. So I did 2 in black. Okay, and then now I'm switching back to white. So I'll grab my white and bring it through all of the bands on my hook. Do my slip stitch. So that was 1 white. Here's 2. 3, 4, I think I'll do 5. Okay, I'm going to switch to black again, so I need to do my color change. So that's 1 black. I'm going to do a total of 3 in this one. So there's 2. I'm going to do 1 more. 3. Now I'm switching back to my white, so I need to do my color change. And I think I'll do white for maybe 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'll go in through here and I'll switch to black. I think I'll do 2. Again, you don't have to copy what I'm doing, but if it's easier for you, then go ahead. Now I'm switching back to white and I'm doing my color change. And I'm just going to do white all the way to the end, so that's 4 whites. Okay, so I still have 24 stitches around, but I do have multiple weird stitches from where I changed colors. So you're really gonna have to pay attention when you do your next row around. So that was 1, and we need to do 2 more rows around. So my first one I can see is my white stitch is weird because I switched over from red to white. So I'm gonna skip that one. I'm just gonna go straight into the white. So there's 1. There's 2. I'm going to do 3 whites. And I'm going to switch to black. So I'll go into my white stitch here because I did 4 whites in my last round. And I'll do my color change. And now over here, since in my previous row I did a color change right here, I'm going to skip my weird stitch there. So all the stitches that are going out this way, you want to skip. If they're going around nicely in a circle, then you make sure you crochet in those. And I'd recommend that you, after every row, that you count that you have 24, just to make sure that you didn't, accidentally include one of those weird stitches. And if you did, then I'd take out that row and restart it. So I did 1, 2, I'm going to do another black. 3, I'm going to do 1 more black, and I have a weird stitch here, so I'm going to skip that. 4, now I'm switching back to my white. I hope you guys aren't too confused with this. So there's 1 white, 2, 3, I'm going to do 4, and then I'm going to go into black. So there's 1, I'm just going to do 2 here. And then I'm going to switch back to my white. Then I have a weird stitch, so I'm skipping that one. There's my second white. There's my third. It's my fourth. And then I'm going to switch to black here. So there's 1, and I'm skipping my weird stitch. There's 2. I'm going to do 4 blacks. 3. Skip my weird stitch. There's 4. And then I'm switching to white again. I'll just do white to the end, so that's 3 whites. Okay, now we have 1 more row. And I'm just going to count my stitches to make sure that I'm doing it correctly. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Okay. Okay, so let's do our last row around. So I'm going to do 4 whites. There's 1, 2, 3, and let's skip my weird stitch. And 4, and I'm switching to black. So that was 1, I'm going to do 1 more. 2, and I'm going to switch back to white. skip my weird one. So that was one white. Here's 2, 3, 4. Do one more. 5. Now I'll go into my black and switch to black. One more. I'll do 2 blocks here. Okay, I'm going to skip my weird stitch. Go back to white. So that's 1. 2, 3, 4, and keep going. 5, do 6, and I'll switch to black here. So that was 1, do another black, 2, and then I'll switch to white. And all the way to the end. Okay, and then I'll go into my next stitch over, and I'm going to temporarily fasten this off. So I just tie a slip knot. That's because I want to start adding his hair and his nose and his eyebrows. So this is you should have something similar to this if you did your own pattern. And again, I hope you guys followed along okay and were okay with all the color changes, because I know the color changes can be a little bit confusing, but once you get the hang of it and know which stitches to look for, then you know you should be good after that. So let's start with the nose and the eyebrows. So for the nose and the eyebrows, I'm just using a brown. You can use black, whatever colors you want. This is actually the brown from the skin tone, the mixed skin tone pack. So that's the one I'm going to be using. And let's see, our eyebrows, like if you've made any of my other ones, they're kind of the same. It's just going to be done the same way. His eyebrows are, one's placed a little bit lower on this eye and then one on this one. For some reason, all the Zoom Zooms look worried. I'm not sure why, but it makes them look cuter, I think. So we're just going to place the eyebrows however you want them. You can kind of use what I do as a guide, and then his little nose will just be like a little thingamajiggy here. So let's start with the nose. So let me see how I did this one. Okay, so I think I just took single bands for each portion. So like for the little piece going this way is one single band, and for this part is one single band. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So you just want to find somewhere like in the center. You can always see your center right there in between your eyes. That's where we started the Zoom Zoom. And I'm just going to try to go like a little bit diagonal. So if you go diagonal, there's a little hole like right from your middle one. So if you stick your hook through your middle of your nose and pull down a little bit, not too much because you don't want to pull the whole band through. And then I'll just go up through this section here and pull the rest of the band down. So it goes off to the side a little bit. I can't even tell if like my camera is focusing, is it? Okay. So I'll just leave that be for now. And then I just want to put my next band in the same hole that I just went from and across. So I'll just stick my hook through this last hole that we went through and pull down. Okay, and then I'm just going to go across to the next hole. Okay, so that's my nose. And I'm just going to turn them inside out for now so that I can fasten this up, so that I can, what's it called, secure these. So I'm just going to go around. So I'm just going to take one end of my loop, take the other one on my hook and slide it through, and I'm just going to go all the way around doing that with these loose loops, just to connect them all together. And then I'll just go in through here and tie it with a slip knot. Okay, so we've got our nose in. Now let's do our eyebrows. And for the eyebrows, I did the same thing. I've usually been using like a slip knotted band to do it, but I'm just going to use a single band for each brow. So for this, my left eye, I'm going to put it a little bit closer to his eyes. And this is up to you where you want to place your eyebrows. So just how we place the nose, just find a spot where you want to put your brows. And then before you fasten this off, go ahead and put your other brow in, just so you can look at them both and see if you like how it looks all together. So this one I'm going to place on my right eye, I'm going to place a little bit up higher. Not sure I like where that one was. How about here? Okay, that's fine. Okay, and then once you find your spots for your brows, and just take one end, put both ends on your hook, and then just bring it through, and then find a spot in your face. Just 2 stitches on the inside of your face and tie off with a skin tone band. And then do that with your other one. Okay. You know what? My hair might cover up that eyebrow. No, I don't think it will, but it might. I'm talking to myself. Okay, So now we get to work on the hair, and this part is a little bit difficult. Well, I mean, it's not like real difficult, but I can't like, it was hard for me to write down exactly what I did because I just kind of did it. Like there isn't like a certain technique to do it. It's, I don't know, I kind of just used my judgment when I did this. So you're gonna have to do the same thing. So basically what we're doing is we're crocheting the hair into the face. So I started my first crochet below the ear. Actually, it was in front of the ear. And then once I finished the hair, I just pulled the ears through one of the stitches. So because the Woody has like little sideburns and I kind of wanted to create that as well. So I'm going to start like maybe, let's see, here's my ears. I'm going to go down a little ways and start over here, like right beneath the ear. And then when I go up, I'm going to go in front of the ear and continue like across to the other side. So you want to find a spot underneath the ear. I'm trying to think how far down I want this to go. Probably go here. So I just found a spot like right underneath my ear, and it's about 2 stitches down. You're going to need your hair color for this. And I'm just going to start off a single crochet. So I'm going to bring it through, reclaim onto my hook, and of course I got to start with a slip knot to start my crochet. I'll go to my next stitch right above that, which is the stitch right below the ear. And then I'll bring it through like I'm just doing single crochets. And now here's where I'm going to go in front of the ear. So I'll go to the next stitch up, but I went to the one that's like right in front of the ear. Okay, but hold on. We're getting stuck on something. Ugh. Okay, so oh my goodness, I'm having like such a hard time right now. Okay. So yeah, I just went in front of the ear, and then I'm going to do one more in front of the ear. Oh, I have to adjust myself, sorry. Okay. Okay, so now what you want to do is just continue this all the way until you get to here. And here, you're going to go in front of the ear for the first couple here, and then end with 2 right below. So I'm just working my way across. With his hair. With single crochets. And as you're doing it, just kind of stop and look and see if you're, even, or if you're close to even. And don't worry about his bangs. We're going to be adding bangs, so he's not going to look like he has a receding hairline. And I think this is what makes Woody a little bit more advanced than some of the other ones, just because we're having to add more detail to him. And sometimes when you're doing Loomigurumi, a lot of that detail is really hard to explain exactly where to put it. So it's really like your decision how you do it and how you want him to look. Okay, so now I'm like right above his ear with my single crochets. Now for this next stitch, I'm going to start working in front of the ear just for a couple of crochets. So I'm going to do another one right in front of the ear. For some reason, I have a hard time right there. Okay, and then I'm just going to go back down, like right underneath the ear. And I want to make sure that it's even with the other side. So I'm going to stop right there. So yeah, he looks kind of funny right now. But you should have something similar to this. So our next row is going to be a single crochet in the back loops only. So if you look at this, these here would be the front loops, the ones that are closest to you. We're going to be crocheting in the loops furthest from you. So I'm gonna, hold on, okay. So we're just working our way back to the other side. So now we're going the opposite way. And we're just going to do single crochets in the back loops only. Oh, I hate how squeaky this chair is, but it's so uncomfortable to sit in for a really long time. It looks so funny right now. And if your hair is not perfect, your hat's gonna cover a lot of it, so. And the little bang piece that we make for it. And I'm even gonna go in the very first stitch that I made, which was the slip stitch. I'm even gonna go down there. Okay, and now he looks like a little Dutch boy. So the next thing we want to do are just regular single crochets. We don't, not in just the front or back loop, we're just going to go through the entire stitch and go all the way to the other side. So now we're just going back the other way. Back and forth, back and forth. And it's okay if your ear's covered right now because we're going to pull it through after. And we just want to continue this until all of our nude is covered in the back area, up until we get to the red, because we want to cover up his back of his head. Okay, so I've reached the end of my other side. And now I want to go back again. So I'm just going to do single crochets. And I know this might be really awkward doing this, but I just got really tired right now. It's so quiet in here. Without my kids, I could really use a nap right now. Or some caffeine. That would be nice. Okay, so I finished my next row around, and I'm just gonna flip it back just to see how many more rows I need to do. And I think if you stretch it out a little bit, I think one more row will be good. So yeah, I'm just gonna do one more row across. For something so small, he really is time consuming. Oh no. Okay, let's see how this is. Yes. So I did a total of, I think, wait, how many did I do? I did 3 rows of the regular single crochets. So I did do, I did the 1 initial row across, and then I did the row in the back loops only, and then I did 3 regular rows of single crochets. So yeah, I think that's good. I'll just go, like when you have your ending here, just go into a portion in the hair somewhere close by, if I can do it, and then just bring a band through and tie off. And don't worry about that tail, we will get rid of it later. Okay. We can pull his little ears through. So if you find your ears, just give them a little tug. All right, and then we can do his next little bang thingy. So let's get started on that. So we just need to make a circle that has 18 stitches in it for his hair. So to do that, we're going to start with our magic ring with 6 stitches in it. So I wrapped it around twice. I'm going to pull up a band. So there's 1. There's 2. There's 3. 4. 5 and 6. So I have 6 stitches in there. I'm going to put my C-clip in, and then I want to increase around so that I have 12 stitches. So all the way around I'll do an increase. So there's 1. And 2. Go to my next stitch. Just 1. And 2. Next stitch. 1. 2. 1. 2. 1. 2, and then my last stitch. 1. And 2. So now I have 12, and then I just want to increase to 18. So I'll do my single crochet followed by an increase all the way around. So start with our single crochet. There's 1, Then I'll do an increase. I'll do a single crochet, and an increase, single, increase, single, and increase, single, increase, single, and then I'll end with an increase. And then I'll fasten this off, so I'll go into my next stitch over, bring a band through, and slip knot. So there's my little bang piece, and now we can attach it to his head. So I just attached it like this so that it kind of, you know, comes over his forehead a little bit. Kind of like this one has a little thingy here. So what we need to do to attach that is add some bands to this tying off band. So I'll probably do 4. So there's 1, well that's 2, and here's 3, and here's 4, and I'm just gonna sew this on to his head. So place it where you want it to go. And it's going to be like this. And we're just going to stitch all the way around our 18 stitches. So since our band is up here, we're going to bring it through the bottom. So we'll go through our next stitch over. Actually, no. What am I doing? Okay. We'll go up through the spot right next to that tying off band and bring that tying off band through. To the inside of the head. Then we'll go in through our next stitch over. Find a spot in the head. And bring your tying off band through up to the top. And you might have to, you know, adjust it around a couple of times to make sure it's centered. So you want to keep checking to make sure you're not accidentally sewing it off to the side or to the other side. Okay, so next I'm going to go in through my head. Oops, it's caught up on there. And this is where a needle would come in very handy because it's a lot easier to work with a needle. And if you do choose to do that, I would suggest a yarn needle. They have yarn needles in plastic, or you can get them in metal. And if you're worried about the metal with your bands, it's fine because I've used yarn needles before, the metal ones. It's just easier to be more precise and faster. But not everybody has one, so I want to show you how to do it with the hook. So yeah, I'm just going around. your band is on the inside of your creation, then you need to go through the top. And vice versa. My band's on the top, so I need to come in through the bottom or the inside. Well, now that we're almost done with the hair, we just have to attach his hat and then finish up his body. It's not too bad. I think this area is like the area that I was most concerned about doing the video on. Sometimes it can be very hard to replicate what you did before on your trial version and do it again by written instruction. So sometimes it can be hard to like write down exactly like the exact steps. Okay, so I'm almost done with this. If you need to add more length to your tying off band, you can do that. Just add another band to it if you're running out. Alright, so one more. Okay, so we got his hair on. This band here is like a funky band. Shouldn't have added that in. Oh well. Okay, so we've got our hair and then we've got this loose tail here that we need to secure. So I'm just going to do what I usually do and just put it on my hook and go in some bands on the inside and tie off that way. And then we have our tying off band from the where we ended the hair. So we'll pull that through. Then we need to secure that. So you can either go through some loops and slip knot it off, but I'm just going to tie it to one of these other many loose bands that I have on the inside. I have so many. Okay. All right. Just gonna fix his ear a little bit. Just pull these out a little bit further. All right, so now we just have to add our hat and then we can continue on with the rest of his body. All right, so get your hats ready, and I just stretched out the center a little bit, and I'm gonna flip it inside out. So when it's right side out, you can see the black more. When it's inside out, it kind of looks weird. So then you know it's inside out. What you want to do is push down the center. We kind of essentially want to cinch the center. So I just pushed my center in, and now I'm just going to tie these in place with slip knots. So I'll just go through one side and then go through all the way to the other side and do a slip knot band. I'll do a slip knot band. And just tie it. And then I'll do the same thing right next to it. Okay, and then you can flip it right side out. And that just kind of gives it a little squished in, worn in cowboy hat look, I guess. So we need to attach this to his head, and some of like the brim I actually flipped up and like slip knotted it to the hat just to make it look more worn in. So I just flipped up a little bit and then did like a slip knot. Slip knots are great. I do them a lot. So you can just, you know, add in little, like I might do it here with this tying off band. Just to shape your hat a little bit more. Otherwise, it's gonna look like he's wearing like an explorer's hat, or I don't know, something. Okay, and then once you've got the shape that you want, kind of like it, like, I don't know. We'll have to attach it to his head. So I'm just going to, if you don't have any loose bands to use to attach it to your woody, then just go ahead and add some. So I'll add another one here. Just add little slip knots. I know I'm not explaining this very well. And then all these other ugly bands will hide in the hat anyway, so. But then you just want to pull the two bands through the head. I'm going to do a little bit back on the hair. So there's one. I'll go ahead and grab the other one. Hopefully this will cover his bald spot. I'm not exactly sure how he ended up with a bald spot. And then once you've got that through, then you just need to fasten those off. So since these are long enough, I'm just going to pick them up and loop it through and then tie it off. Gosh, the inside of this one is so messy. It's crazy. All the extra work you have to put. Okay, so he's got his hat on. And now we can continue with his body. Hopefully you guys are okay up to this point. This hat looks different. I must have written down the instructions wrong. Oh well. Okay, so our next color change is going to be yellow. And we will be adding our legs into this round. Well, no, wait. We're going to do one round of just regular single crochets. And then in the next round of yellow, we'll add our legs. So just follow along with me. Sorry, I'm squeaking a lot in my chair. I'm getting antsy. I have ants in my pants. Okay. So I took out my temporary tying off band. I'm just going to stick my C-clip in. And this row you need to be careful because we ended a while ago with all of our white and black color changes. So you're going to have quite a few weird off stitches that you don't want to crochet into. So just make sure you pay attention when you're, oh wait, hold on. When you're doing your yellow, and you want to start off with your slip stitch for your color change. My nail polish is, I ripped it off earlier. Okay. So I'm just going around with my yellow, paying attention to each of my stitches to make sure I don't go in any of the wrong stitches. So like I have one weird black one here that I'm going to skip. And I have a weird white one that I'm going to skip. And then I have a weird black one. So every time you've changed colors, you should see an off stitch that you want to skip. Okay, here's my last one here. Put your C-clip in. And now we're going to add our legs, so get your legs ready. Where did my legs go? They disappeared. Oh, here they are. Okay, so get your legs ready. And we're going to be adding our legs in stitch 2 and 8, and we're doing the single crochets around still. So skip your first stitch, which is a weird one from your color chain. So there's one, and then I'll go into stitch 2, grab one of my legs, go through the loop of my magic ring, and then the next stitch over, I'll grab a yellow, pull it through all of my leg loops, and then pull it through my body, the stitch in my body, and do my crochet. So then we want to go up to 8. So here's 3, oops, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then here's 8. So stick your hook through your 8th stitch, grab your other leg, and go through the stitch in your leg, grab your yellow band, bring it through your leg only, and then through your stitch, and do your crochet. And then we can just single crochet to the end. This guy is really bulky. Okay. So now we want to do blue. So for 2 rows around, we're going to do blue. Put my yellow away. And this is where I'm extending it a little bit. Normally it would have just been 1 row of blue before we started decreasing. But I want his butt to be more noticeable. So now we need to do just our single crochets around for 24 stitches in the blue. And so in our first stitch over, we do need to do our slip stitch to change colors. And then we're just going to keep going around in our 24 stitches for 2 rows. So why don't you guys go ahead and do that, and I'll do mine, and then we'll meet back here for the decreases. So 2 rows around, and when you go for your second row, don't forget to skip your slip stitch weird stitch. Okay. Okay, I'm back. So we finished our 2 rounds of blue, and we're still continuing with the blue, and we're going to start doing our decreases. So for row 18, we're going to do a single crochet, followed by a decrease so that we end up with 18 stitches. So let's start with that. So we'll start with our first single crochet. So there's 1, and here's 2. And now we want to do a decrease, so I'm just going to pick up the front loops of my next stitch and then the front loop of my stitch next to that. Bring up my blue band through these 2 stitches that I just picked up, just like that. Do my crochet. Then I'm going to continue on with my single crochet. So there's 1 and 2, and then I'll do my decrease. 2. Okay, back to my single crochets. So there's 1 and 2, and then I'm going to do a decrease. Back to my singles. Just 1 and 2 and a decrease. Singles. Just 1, 2, decrease. Two more single crochets. Just 1, 2, and then a decrease. Just gonna take my C-clip out. Okay, so now we have 18 stitches. Let's do one more row around before we stuff him. So for row 19, we're going to do a single crochet and then a decrease around so that we end up with 12 stitches. So I'm going to put my C-clip back here. I'm going to start with my single crochet. And then I'm going to do my decrease. Single crochet. And a decrease. Single crochet and a decrease. Single crochet and a decrease. Single crochet and decrease. And then a single crochet. Then we'll end up with a decrease. Okay, I'm just going to slide it down on my hook a little bit because I want to start stuffing him. Now this is my favorite part, is stuffing him, and because once they're stuffed, they look a lot better and you're almost done. So after all your hard work, I think this is the best part. It's the end. He kind of looks like Pinocchio. So I always put more stuffing in his face than I do in his butt. I never explained that before, but of course you've got all of your decreases in the behind, so you really can't put too much stuffing in there. Otherwise it will just show through. Chubby. Alright, so I think that's good. And now I'm going to continue with my decreases. We have one row left, and we just decrease all the way around 6 times. So we're going to do a total of 6 decreases so that we end up with 6 stitches. So here is my first one. Here's my second. Here's my third. My fourth. Oh, come on. Okay. My fifth. And then one more. Okay, and what we do with this is we just add a slip knot to our band that's on our hook. And we're just going to stitches behind up. So I just take my tying off band and I go through the front loops only of my 6 stitches. So there's one. So I'm just finding the top loops only and just bringing my tying off band through those, and this just closes up that gap that we have. So after you've done that, just give it a little tug, not too tight because you don't want it to break, but these are some seriously stretchy bands. So then I'm just going to go through another stitch in the body so I can tie it off into a knot. There we go. Then we can just tuck that in. Okay, we did it. Here's Woody. I hope you guys enjoyed making him, and like I said earlier, like especially for the hat, because like I'm worried that some of you guys are gonna have problems with the hat, but I have tons of faith in you guys that you guys will be able to fix him up and make him look great in the areas that I kind of lacked in the tutorial, like, you know, the areas that are really hard to explain how to do it exactly. I know you guys will be able to figure it out because I've seen all your guys's, a ton of your creations, and they're looking so good, and you guys are all putting your little personal touches on it, and that's great. And you know, that's basically what I'm just giving you is the basic design, and you guys just go from there and do what you want with it. So, and it's great to see all that creativity. So, but here's Woody, and he's a little bit larger than some of the other Zoom Zooms. Not too much bigger, but I think he's cute, and I hope you guys like him too. And if you guys have any questions, you can DM me on Instagram, or I try to look at the comments on YouTube. And if you guys have any questions on there, you guys can definitely ask me up there. But thank you so much for following along with me for this Woody tutorial. I have Bullseye coming up next. I think I'm going to film him either tonight or tomorrow, but this was my practice run. Bullseye. You have to have Bullseye if you have Woody, right? So he's got a little saddle, his little stirrups, his hair. I think he's cute, and he'll be a great addition to add with your Woody. So thank you guys so much again, and please tag me on Instagram. I'm at Christina.Davis, and I'll put the link below in my description box, and I'd love to see yours. So you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.